Hello everyone, this is Lori from Grammy's Keepsakes, and I'm doing a little bit of crafting today, and I thought I'd take you along for the ride. I'm making sort of like library pockets and for my 6 journals that I'm putting together right now, and I'm using book pages, and that will keep the thickness down in my book so it won't be so bulky, but yet it adds a bit of interest and another pocket. So what I've done is I've gutted some pages out of my book, and then what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut off the margins. And my particular book happens to be 8 3/4 by almost 6, 5 7/8, but you can use book page of any size. And so put that aside, and here I've got them all, the margins cut off. And now what I'm going to do is the part that has the title up at the top, I'm going to take and fold that. Let's make some room here. Fold that down, not an inch. You know, I don't want to lose too much, but I want it to be more stable at the front because it's going to get the friction of adding in tags and taking them out, so it makes it a little more stable. And then I just go ahead and use my glue stick and just glue that little flap down. And I choose the side that has mostly text because that's the look that I'm looking for. And I just eyeball it. It's 5/8 of an inch, give or take. Each one could be a little different. And go ahead and glue that again. Okay, now let's put the cover back on that. Take my scoreboard and I put it so that the short end is at the top, and I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. I'm going to flip it around and score at 1/2 inch again. The reason I don't do it from this side is because it's at a different length and it will be less or more than the 1/2 inch. So I just like to flip it around. More consistent. Don't need the bone folder anymore. And probably so much stuff here you can't see what I'm doing. And I don't need this till later again. Now I'm going to go ahead and fold it up and relatively close to the top, maybe an inch away, give or take, and go ahead and just fold that over. And I'm in the process of making 6 journals relatively the same, and so I know that I want one of these in each of my books, and so I'm making 6 each of my designs. And so that's what I'm working with. And remembering to fold it so that that tab is in the inside. Okay, now what I'm going to do is cut off this 1/2 inch strip on each of them, and I want the score mark cut off. Go ahead and angle that up. And this book is my encyclopedia of gardening that I got at the antique store. And okay, we'll just do those two for now. And now what I need to do is cut a little thumb notch in there, and I'm just using a 1 1/4 inch circle punch, and just kind of getting not quite a whole half circle, just enough so that I've got a thumb notch. And now I want to use my vintage photo and just go ahead and ink the top edge and that little cutout. Doesn't have to be neat, just get some ink on there. Now I'm going to flip that up and fold my edges over. And when I'm doing mass producing, I like to do one step on everything at one time. And now I'm going to go ahead and glue stick those margins down. And then now what I'm going to do is this part in the back, go ahead and fold it over. And now what it's doing is encasing these tabs so that when you insert, because it can be a double pocket, this one here, plus right behind it if you glue just the 3 sides down. And by folding this down over the tabs, you're not going to get hooked on those papers. So we'll do that to both. And go ahead and glue those down. Then we have a little pocket. Now we're going to go ahead and ink around the other 3 sides. As much or as little as you'd like, or not at all. Not everybody likes that inking part. And then for this back part that's back here, I just go ahead and just go across the top again, and it'll hit some of that. And then for the center, I just pay a little bit extra attention to it. So again, just like that, just a little more attention. It's like my 100-year-old paper needs more color, right? Okay, it's enough of that for now. And now what I want to do is put some music paper on there. And so I'm going to grab another music sheet. I've been ripping out of here a little bit already. And again, no margins, so just rip them off. You can use a tear ruler. I just want that random tear look. And if you rip up, and this is the part you're going to use, and then you get that layered look on the bottom where it's more of a cleaner on the part that I'm not going to use. So that's why I like to rip it up rather than down, so I can get that extra texture look. And then we'll get rid of these. And kind of eyeball about how wide my pockets are, and just go ahead and rip, and then I'm just ripping it into 2 sections so that they're roughly the same. And then I have this on my particular piece of music, then I have this section left over. And this is the one that I want to use on this design. And some of these, see, I've used the whole sheet, and that I'm going to do a different decoration on it. But for this one, I like just that sliver. So we're using every little thing, well, except for the white margins. And if you wanted to, you could save those and stamp on them and use those also. But I've got so many paper scraps around this place that I got to draw the line somewhere. Okay, so now just going to go ahead and eyeball it, rip it off, and I'm using glue stick again for this. And just put it down. Now let's go ahead and do this side. Okay, now I want to layer some lace on there. And I've got some of this lace. It's kind of pretty. And I just want to cut a piece that's almost the length of it. And each pocket could be a little bit different depending on my cutting skills. So that's why I just make a general measurement for each one rather than assuming they're going to be the same, because I don't know that. Now I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac, and got to determine the right side from the wrong, and the easiest way to tell what the right side is the one that has most of the threads that are raised for the design. Where on one side it's mostly flat, that's the wrong side. The one that has it raised, that's where the finer detail is, that's the right side. I've worked in the craft industry for about, 17 years, and I've learned a lot about a lot of the different products. And yes, I've worked at Joann Fabrics, I've worked at Hobby Lobby, I worked at Michaels, and so I had dream jobs there for a while, until I had to walk away from it because it was curbing my creativity. It was becoming work and not fun. So then I'm just patting it down carefully. Some of the glue is going to ooze out, but I tried to put the glue on the mostly dense areas, and then as it's drying, my fingers are taking the glue and lifting it up and off of it so that it won't be so much. Now let's try this one. Here's the wrong side. And just tapping my glue. My Fabri-Tac is coming close to the end, and so it's not fun to work with. But with the price of it, I don't really want to just throw it away because it's a little bit of a pain in the neck. And just patting it again. Rub off the glue. So now we have our base is ready. And now what I want to do is grab some flowers. And this particular one is Tracy Fox Love Junk Journal's Flora Fussy Cut page. And I printed it on rice paper. And I'm just going to roughly rip those flowers out. I am not going to do any of the fussy cutting. We're just going to do rough tearing. Here, take it, get it loose. And so I want a margin around it. I'm kind of going around the shapes a little bit. Not perfect, but that's exactly what I want. Now I'm going to take my ink again and distress a little bit on the edges just to give it a little definition. And it's printed on the white rice paper, so it is going to have a little bit of color difference anyway when we go to put it on there. And we're going to need one for this. go ahead and rip it loose. The rice paper is easy to rip. So then we have our shape. Get a little bit more ink on the dauber. It just helps me give it a little bit more texture. There we go. And then we'll put that on there. And what I like to do to adhere these is, let me grab a new page, is I use my glue stick, but because it's going to be on fabric, I also want to grab a little bit of my art glitter glue and just kind of go around the edges, because the glue stick is not going to really adhere it to the fabric, but it helps give me that little bit extra hold that I want. And then I'll just place that there. Now we'll do this one. And a little bit of the art glitter glue again. And there is no glitter in this, it dries clear. And just place that. Now I'd like a phrase, and what I have here is I printed out, Natasha from Treasure Books had this free PDF on her channel, and I printed it on sticker paper to make, and it makes it very easy for me to use it on my little collaging. And there's 2 pages of them, and they are wonderful little sayings. Here, let's use this one. Because it's sticker paper, I'm cutting them out. And then ink around the edge. This says, "Life is beautiful." And then now I want to go ahead and separate it from the backing. And I'm not going to trust just the adhesive on the sticker. I'm going to add a little bit of art glitter glue. And we'll just place that on our pocket. Now I need one for this one. How about Choose Joy? That one's a nice, easy one to get to. Ink around the edges again. Hardest part with sticker paper is separating them. And apply a little bit of glue around the edges. It's got to stick on that lace. And so and just push that down. Okay, so now I've got some of these ready to go. I've got 5. I need 1 more. I need 6. So let's get our 6th one. I'm going to go ahead and cut those edges off. I forgot to put my phone on mute. I am so sorry for the interruption. We're folding that over. We need that little half circle, don't we? You're probably screaming, don't forget the thumb hole. Ink that up a little bit. Place it over. Get some glue. They go together so quickly, don't they? They were folding down that top. I find it easier for me to fold it against the table. And glue that down. Ink around my edges again. Good enough. Okay, so now we need some music paper. And this is the scrap I have left. You know, that will make that work. We're creative like that, right? We can do it. Yeah, that'll work. I also have another idea. Let me put some glue on that, and I'll show you how I spread it out sometimes if I need to. If you've got your design planned out, it'll work. I just ripped it in half. So I can put that up near the top, and this one near the bottom. Okay, where did I put my lace? Here we go. I'm gonna measure and cut that a little bit. Make sure I get the right, get the right side to put the glue on. And again, I'm just putting some glue on the dense portions of the lace. And place that on here. And now when you're looking at it, you can't really see that there isn't any music paper right underneath that, because it's under the layer. And then we're going to put a flower on it. also. So we're going to add even more to it. And I like that pink one. Let's go with that. My printable looks like Swiss cheese now, doesn't it? So close to the margin there, my big old fingers couldn't get a hold of the paper. Let's trim this in a little bit, give it more definition. I like that. That's pretty. Tracy did good with this, that's for sure. She has such beautiful designs. I love working with her products. Trim that a little bit more. And we're going to put that on there, and that's going to cover where there was that music sheet missing also. So that's going to be pretty. Go ahead and use my glue stick just so I've got some glue. Great tacking. Coming close to the end of that. It's not very blue anymore. And then we're going to use some art glitter glue. It's probably overkill, but I don't want it to come apart when it's in somebody else's hands. I want it to be a nice quality product. So it's worth the extra steps for me. Now I want my phrase. That's the hardest part. I love all of them. Is that one too? That one's too long. Here, let's use this one. Live your dreams out loud. That'll work. Not too long. Close, but it'll work. And ink the edge. Remove that backing paper. And my art glitter glue again. Oops. Oh dear, clumsy. Grab the tweezers. And we'll put that right there. Now I have 6, so I've got one of these for each of my journals. This is good. Here are the other ones that I've already done. These have a stamp cut out with some cheesecloth from the ephemera page of the paper pack. Oh, and a spare. This is a stamp on muslin that I did. And we have our little flowers. And then these are Mrs. Coggs images. And the labels are Artzology. And so that's what I have those so far. And now what I want to do is make some like this. So I've got these already prepared. They've got the music paper on them already. There's one. A different container. Here we go. And this is some pretty trim that I got on my Minnesota road trip. So I'm going to cut some flowers apart. So I've got, and yes, they're all going to be relatively the same, but they're going in 6 different journals. And so they'll be different. Now we're going to go ahead and use Fabri-Tac again on the wrong side, and just a little bit on the edges. Kind of boring to watch me glue, isn't it? Thank you for sticking with me, though. I really appreciate it. And we're just going to pop that down. Let it dry a little bit while we go ahead and get the next one going. I've always been an assembly line type creator. I find one that I like, and then I just like to do a whole bunch of them. We never get very much time for crafting, and so we have to maximize each of our moments. So that's pretty much why I came up with the assembly line type. Got 2 left. Goes quickly. I'm going to grab a baby wipe here. Maybe. Can't get into the container. My glue is oozing out. Get that under control. That's what I get for not putting the cover on it and laying it on its side. And okay. glue everywhere. Got a little bit of the glue on that. Okay, so now here's my sample. We need a label. We've got 2 more pockets for some other ideas. I've got these wonderful little herbal tickets too labels that I think would be so pretty on here as well. But I haven't played with those very much. I pretty much just cut them out. So let's finish this up. And we're not going to use that Fabri-Tac anymore. And I've got a bunch of labels that I've already fussy cut out. So we're going to audition some and see how we like them. Definitely too big. Definitely. Those will not work on this project. That one, it's pretty, but it blends in so well. I printed it on cream paper, and so I think that blends in too well. That's too big. Perfect size. I really like that size, but it's the cream again. I don't like the cream on the cream for what I'm going for. Big mess, huh? You can eliminate those cream ones. Purple, yeah. Normally purple and pink look great, but not the look I'm going for. Too big. Ooh, this green one is really nice. Or do I have... No, I like this one a lot. These are Artsology labels. And they have such beautiful frames. I love them. I'm going to be working on my design team project for Artsology after I finish these 6 journals. And The book that I'm going to use for the cover came in the mail today. So excited. It's perfect. I just love it. This is what it is. It's a leather cover, and it's another one of the Luther Burbank Method and Discoveries or Practical Application, Volume 1, and it's from 1914. And see, it's in pretty rough shape, so there won't be any tears when I tear it apart because it's already pretty bad. There's a bee, but this one has so much fruits and flowers in it. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. And when I was paging through it, oh, there it is. In 2 of the pages, they were drying, pressing leaves. And so I don't know what they are, but here there's 2 of them. And then this one was in this page, and then this one was further back in the book. And so I'm going to think of something I can use these petals for. They're very old as well, but oh, here's a bunch of tulips. So anyway, I'm excited about using this book. Pretty flowers. Oh, and now I just found another one. Okay, I wonder how many more surprises I'm going to find in this book. Sweet. I'll be going through this probably a page at a time. Oh, I love it. Well, anyway, I'm getting distracted, but I love this book. Isn't that gorgeous? I'll clean it up a little bit. It's going to be beautiful. Make it into a writing journal, I think. Okay, back to business. Let's get this finished up. Making sure that I like what I see. That's kind of nice with that green. Let's try a different shape. You know, I really like the oval. It's kind of big. Oh, it is as big as that flower, which is not a good thing. Too bad that wasn't a little bit smaller. But that one gets lost. Oh, I really like it though. Well, let's audition some of these rectangles. They're smaller than the flower. I don't like using elements that are all the same size, but I wonder if I could make an exception. I really like it. But that one is nice too. We're going to go with that one. That collective we, right? Okay, let's grab some glue. This one was my prototype. This one's all ready to go, all glued. Now we're going to go ahead and glue these. Oh, ink. Almost forgot, didn't I? I get more ink on my fingers sometimes. These grungy labels are from Musings by Nikki on her Etsy shop. Nikki Adigan. I have a few of her digital kits. I really like her work too. Trying to decide where I want to place it. Want a little bit more of the music showing, or some notes. That works. I've got some of the cream down below. Well, it's crooked. It's stuck now though. Crooked's good. We're going to move on. And this label's from Artzology, and what I did was these big ones, this is the original size, and I just printed them 2 to a page, so they got down to half size. That's how I came up with some different variations. One more. Okay, so now we have those. There's one of those big labels, but I like it. I like the color. So there we are. We made these, and we did these. Well, there they are. All our pretty little pretties. And for this muslin, what I did was I just ripped a bunch of strips and just started stamping on them. And then when I want to use them, I just go ahead and rip it loose. Like I just use my postcard stamp on that. So it's a partial, but it's great for collaging. I like that. And I think yep, here we go, a different one underneath. A happy memory never runs out. And then I've got another one underneath it. And it says, the way to know life is to love many things, Van Gogh. And there's another one underneath it. All things grow with love. And then I've got a whole bunch underneath this one too. I did these stamping while I was visiting my mom on my Minnesota road trip. And, you know, idle hands, I'm always doing something. I think I drive her crazy, but got my projects done. Isn't it great? I want to thank you everybody for watching, and have a great evening.